Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. My name is Kimrah Minuty. I am your friendly neighborhood intuitive ascension coach, and I am coming to you live this evening with a special broadcast on suicide awareness and mental health awareness as it relates to the ascension process. Now, I see that no one's jumped on here live tonight, and that's okay. This is a very uncomfortable topic, and so going to wait a couple seconds to see if anybody else hops on to see before we go ahead and get started. So if you've hopped on live, go ahead and say hello. Put your name in the comments. Let me know what's going on with you. We're going to be talking about a heavy topic today. It is suicide awareness. So before we even do that, let me go ahead and start clearing the air. We're going to go ahead and sage our feed and set the stage for a nice, safe container for this topic that we're having tonight, okay? So, everybody who's here today, I just want to thank you. If you're here on Indigo Rising, if you're here live with me on Silver Lining Spirals, or if you're jumping on YouTube on Off Duty with Minuty, okay? All right. So, before we get started, we're going to do a grounding meditation. All right. Because I really want to have a nice, safe space for all of this. So I want you to take a deep, deep breath in with me. Okay. Just deep belly breath. Exhale. Take another deep breath in. Hold it. And now exhale. And I want you to keep taking deep breaths as you feel comfortable. And I'm going to start talking. So as you're breathing deeply, I want you to sink into your chair or wherever you are at this point in time. And if you're driving, please don't do this. And I want you to just go ahead and feel the soothing rush down your body as you take these deep, slow breaths. Today we're in Scorpio, so we're going to create a watery container, okay? This is going to be a very soothing, flowing container of beautiful, clear, teal, Caribbean water, very calypso blue. And we're going to go ahead and imagine that this water is just soaking us with this beautiful, light, loving approach that is soothing your nervous system. It's soothing your mind. It's soothing your face. It's soothing the tension out of your neck and out of your shoulders and out of your belly, out of your hips, out of your legs, out of your knees, out of your calves, all the way down into your feet and your toes. They even relax down to your toenails. And as you feel that soothing liquid just seep down into your toes and onto the ground, it's taking away all of the stress of the day, all of the stress of the week, all of the stress in your mind, so that you can be fully present, so that we're all able to receive the message that is coming today. And with that, I want you to just imagine that water just seeping all the way down into the core of Mother Earth. It doesn't have to take long, guys. It knows the way. And when you get down into the well of the crystalline cave of Gaia, all that water is just going to pour into the crystals, and it's going to be transmuted into this beautiful diamond white rainbow light. And as all of your thoughts and your worries swirl away in that light and are transmuted into love, I want you to draw that supportive energy back into your body. And imagine all of this beautiful clear water just trickling its way all the way up to you, and ride it like a wave. Just bring it all the way up, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up to your feet, to your calves, to your knees, to your thighs, to your hips, to your belly, to your stomach, to your heart, to your throat, to your forehead, to your crown. And just sit with it for a moment. Just feel supported. Just feel safe. Just feel enveloped. Just feel loved. And take another deep breath. And we're going to draw some air energy down from the sky, from your soul star chakra, from the central sun. Stretch up, 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 stretch, and just feel yourself connecting. And when you get up there and you just feel all of this tingly energy just sliding down, cascading stars sprinkling all over your head, all over your face, all over your body, and just washing into these waves that are soothingly rocking you so that you can begin to come back to yourself in a balanced, calm, and loved manner. And I ask you to take another deep breath. Feel your fingers, feel your elbows, feel your neck, shake your head, feel your butt in the chair, and bring yourself back into the awareness. And we'll begin. All right. How's everybody feeling? Hi, Spiritual Lorenzo. And hi, Farah. How are you? So thank you so much for joining me tonight, everyone. Thank you so much. Okay. Now, we are having a very deep discussion about suicide awareness as it relates to the Ascension program or the Ascension process. Okay. And the reason that I want to bring this topic up today is because there has been a rise in not only attempted suicides, but actual completed suicides since the beginning of the pandemic. And honestly, since like 2017, there's been really a large increase. But the pandemic has put such a strain on society as a whole, not just here in the United States, but all over the world, right? Like nobody is exempt from what has been happening with the pandemic. Everybody's frustrated, angry, can't travel, feeling pressured in some way, shape, or form. It may not be the end all be all, but these things are affecting people's mental health, physical health, and how they are feeling emotionally. Okay. So, with that being said, I wanted to bring up how this is affecting people from a spiritual perspective and what is quote unquote the word from like the divine, from the galactics or something to that effect, right? So shout out to Megan Schwartzrock. She had did a short live this morning on soul contracts and how those affect people who commit suicide, right? And I really wanted to touch on that today. So one of the things that I want to speak on is that our children, right? Our children, the ones that we are raising now, are very much a part of the ascension process. And they are equally stressed, if not more stressed, than us, the adults. And oftentimes we feel like because they are children and we pay for all of their bills and we provide them with food and housing and such, that they should be less stressed than us, the adults, who have all these other responsibilities, correct? So I want to tell you that that is really not true. They have their own stressors at their own developmental stage of awareness, and the pressure from being squeezed from a parent's perspective, from a school's perspective, from a friend's perspective, from a social media perspective, and then their own internal hormonal struggle, right? Say if you have like teenagers or children who are returning like 8 or 9 or 10, like, so they're starting to develop these surges and hormonal shifts in their bodies, and they have no frame of reference on how to deal with their emotions. And guess what? Many of us adults don't either. So we're compounding the problem Not that it's really a problem, it's just a situation that needs to be spoken on. We're compounding the situation simply by negating their level of strain, and it is translating directly to harm to them, to children being lost. And it bothers me deeply. And I'm not laughing because it's funny, I'm laughing because it really bothers me, and it's a nervous reaction. So, what I want to start talking about is, first and foremost, what can we do for first ourselves and then for our children? Okay. First thing I want to tell you is you're not alone. Oftentimes, people who are spiritually sensitive, or who are just highly sensitive people, or empaths, or whatever you want to call it, artists, musicians, emotional people, we're all really sensitive to what is going on in the world, right? And that causes us to experience things in kind of like a post-traumatic stress disorder. And I don't want to really use psychology terms for this. I want to just talk about how it feels, okay? So you don't want to be here anymore. You don't think you can take it anymore. You're tired of getting up and dealing with the bullshit. Sometimes you just can't get out of bed. All you want to do is sleep. You eat too much or you eat too little. You've got headaches all the time. You're angry. You're short-tempered. You feel like you're being squeezed, right? So these are some of the symptoms that you can find when you are experiencing like deep levels of depression that can lead to suicidal thoughts, okay? And I'm really speaking from my own personal experience, guys. Some of you may know, some of you may not, but for over 20 years, I was diagnosed bipolar depressive, right? So I really struggled with deep, deep depression for many, many years, and I was medicated, and I had all types of problems, all types of problems. And I came to understand something about my energetic sensitivity, okay? Being depressed in the world that the way that it is right now, that makes sense, okay? If you're not depressed, something's wrong, because the world is breaking down, right? The thing that I want you to understand is that the world is breaking down for a reason, okay? It's not that shit is just exploding and we'll never figure it out and everything's going to be horrible and we're all going to die. Like that's not necessarily it. It's that in order for things to change, things must break, right? So what you're seeing in the news, in the world, in the media is global shadow work. It's the global unfucking of everything. And it's us pulling out all of the deep hurts that have been plaguing society for time out of mind, okay, in order to heal them. So now here's where it gets hairy scary, right? You, the sensitive, and your children, the sensitive children, are sensitive to when these traumas are being released from the collective. And so often your kids get caught in a wave of collective trauma because they cannot distinguish their own emotional state from another emotional state because no one is telling them that that's even possible. And it's really, really, really important that we speak to people about the fact that there are things going on in the world that you cannot see, but they are still very much real because they affect your mental health, your heart health, and your physical health. Okay? The reason I came to be an Ascension coach is because I realized by going through my own traumatic experience that there was nobody around who knew what the hell I was going through. And we can, I don't want to say save people, but you can spare someone an extra traumatic experience by simply seeing them for who they are and recognizing the true energy within them and not just seeing their physical avatar, okay? And many, many people are killing themselves from lack of being seen, from not being recognized, from not being allowed to be themselves, from not being able to express themselves the way that they want to express themselves, and not being nurtured in that expression, being ridiculed and bullied and harmed. Okay? So this is a heavy topic, right? and please, yes, Farah, you want to definitely keep an open communication line, and you also want to teach your kids awareness of their emotion, really awareness of who they are, and to let them know, like, hey, mommy's sensitive, which means you're sensitive. That means you'll probably see things, you may not see things. You can hear things, you cannot hear things. Like, you want to get into the dialogue with your children and understand that they have their own path, right? And we're here to steward them, to shepherd them, to give them the tools necessary for them to be successful in this world. And the way that that happens is through giving them the sovereignty, giving them the empowerment to make their own choices, to be themselves, to say the things that they need to say. You know what I mean? To not be afraid to tell you if someone touches them or harms them or is mean to them, so that they know you, the parent, are their tether point, the safe haven. They can always come home to you. They can always come home to you. You don't kick them out when they're 18. You're always their mommy. You're always their daddy. And I don't mean not have good boundaries as parents, guys, but your children need to know. They need to know that these things are real, so that they're not lost in the sea of insanity that is the world right now, right? So don't judge your children, please. Please, this is so important, because so many children are afraid to express their tendencies in their sexuality, or if they feel like they might be transgender. And you have to understand that's energetic too, guys. It's not necessarily an agenda that's being pushed. There is a real they're coming into their bodies. They're coming into different bodies to evidence the fact that it doesn't have to be what it looks like on the outside. I don't know a better way to say it at this point in time. I just know that you are more than just this physical body, right? So the majority of you is non-physically focused. Let's put it like that. Okay, so this is your avatar, and this avatar is a portion of your larger energetic body, right? Okay, let's put it like that. So you, the person, are the tiniest portion of your energetic body. And so when someone is narrowing themselves into this avatar, and you kind of deny the existence of the rest of them, it's harmful. Okay? It's harmful, because they're not just the physical. And I want you guys to understand that spiritual and physical are not separate, right? And religion taught us that it was separate. It's not separate. People often think that my ascension is like a religious thing. It's not. It's about understanding your heart, understanding your soul, understanding your path, understanding your purpose, and then living in your truth, not anybody else's, right? So That's what the purpose is. And what's happening with these children who are killing themselves, what's happening with these people who are killing themselves, to me, when I think of Gaia, everybody is her child. So it doesn't matter how old you are. You could be 150. You're one of Gaia's children. And when you hurt yourself, when you harm yourself, when you cut yourself, when you kill yourself, I want you to know Gaia cries. She does. She cries for you because we weren't able to nurture you appropriately, right? And with that being said, I want you to also understand that everybody has their path and they don't always get to stay that long. Sometimes them hurting themselves and leaving us is a lesson in and of itself. And it's a hard lesson to bear. I've lost way too many good people to suicide. Way too many. And I want you to please include suicide. I want you to include people who overdose on drugs as suicide by drugs. Okay? I want to really highlight that because sensitives, I'm sorry guys, I'm all teary-eyed. And because sensitives use drugs oftentimes to shield themselves from what's been hurting them. Okay? So they need something to coat them. Imagine that. I know you guys who are sensitive understand what I'm saying, so I'm going to just kind of be brief with it. But as a sensitive, when you first come into your understanding of what's happening, it feels like you have no skin. You feel raw. And everything is attacking you, right? And if you don't know what it is, it can send your body into a shock response. Oftentimes, the only way that people know how to deal with it, in my belief, this is what I've been kind of shown, the way that people deal with it, they do drugs, they drink, they smoke weed, they do heroin, they eat. Oftentimes they eat, so oftentimes it's binging and purging. There's a lot of ways that people deal with this, but I've noticed often it's with drugs. And with the drugs, it's hiding a deep-seated hurt. And oftentimes it's not just from one lifetime, guys, because this lifetime is a lifetime that we're clearing up a lot of shit. We're clearing up so much stuff right now. And with that being said, last year and the years before this, we were in the veil of Pisces, and that Piscean veil allowed us to be more delusional, to feel less of the rawness of this ascension process. Now that is not the case. And because it's not the case, it feels so much worse than ever before, and people can't handle it. They really can't. And we're losing people. We're losing people. We're losing beautiful, bright lights that have wonderful gifts hidden in them that are here to be a benefit to others. And they can't make it because someone won't fucking be kind to them or feed them or hug them or take them away from an abusive situation. And then we're arguing on the internet and on the news about vaccine mandates and all this other crap. Like, I don't get it. Anyway, so long story short, let's go back to the real situation here. I want you to tonight, when you go to bed, when you go into your meditation, I want you to do something really simple. Like, it's not overwhelming. I don't want it to take up too much of your energy, but I want you to really just take a moment and focus your heart energy and just send some love. Send some love to someone out there. It doesn't have to be someone you know. Just be like, listen, I know you're out there by yourself, alone, and you feel like nobody cares about you. I want you to know that I care about you. I want you to know that you are loved. I want you to know that just take it another step. Just take it another day. Just take it another minute. please don't give up. Please, you have a beautiful story on the end of this if you can come out of it. And I know that my story is powerful because I did not give up. And I don't but I don't want you to feel ashamed about how bad that you feel. There's so many reasons to feel horrible, you know, so many, so many. And if you need to get medication so you can feel less bad, please, by all means, do so. You know, you don't have to be a purist, especially for people who are dealing with like bipolar disorder or schizophrenia. Sometimes, guys, you're going to need that medication so you can find the middle ground. For me, I know that I was like way up or way down or way up or way down. I could never find middle, right? Now, this way, you guys, you see me, I'm the most grounded I have ever been in my entire life. I'm like solid as a rock. But this comes truthfully from walking in faith, trusting my spirits, doing so much shadow work, having so many dark nights of the soul, cutting out so many people in my life. It's not a process that happened overnight. This is 8 years in the making, 20 years of suffering, you know, and so many people I've lost. Like the first person that I lost to suicide that really truly broke my heart, guys, I wrote about it in my book, my poetry book, Lighten Up Phoenix, Keep Rising, is my cousin Gareen. She killed herself when I was 14 years old. And let me just share with you, because people often don't talk about the grief and how bad it is. But the moment my mom told me, right, that she had passed away, the shock hit me. And it was like an earthquake. It was like a cavern just opened, like the Grand Canyon opened where my heart was. I literally heard like a crack. And I just felt everything open and empty out from me. And I went numb. I don't even think I cried. I didn't cry for years after that. And I held that heartache in me up until recently, which is crazy because I can speak to spirits, guys. Right? Like you would think, Kimrah, you speak to spirits. Why wouldn't you speak to the person that you love the most who has killed themselves that would allow you to commune with them, right? Well, the truth is that grief, I couldn't even acknowledge how deeply grief-stricken I was at the loss of her physical being, even though I know better, even though I know. And so recently Spirit, helped me to deal with it and heal it up. And so we've come to a really beautiful place now. And I'm blessed to be able to commune with her now. Okay. But she was the one keeping me out of trouble this whole time, because her purpose once she left was to become my guardian angel, my spirit guide. And she kept my stupid ass out of a lot of dumb things. And I mean, I did a lot of dumb things. She was constantly yoking me out of crap. Right. So that's the thing that I wanted to share with you. And I wanted to just read for you, if you'll allow me to just briefly share with you this poem that I wrote about my cousin, because I really love her. And I would be a hot mess without her. I'd probably be dead too, FYI, guys. Like, she's done yoked me out of some real ass shit. So this poem is called My Darling Cousin. It's on page 27 of my book, Lighten Up Phoenix, Keep Rising. It's on Amazon if you guys would like a copy. Support small business here for the holidays. And so it starts like this. Darling cousin, Gareen, my guardian, you never said goodbye. Silently you slipped away, out of my life, gone to stay. Devastation untold, immediate shutdown, survival mode. The audible sound of a broken bone, a whisper in comparison to the deafening thunderclap of a savage chasm invading my heart. Blown away by 2 words, knowing I'd never see you again, needing your smile still, swallowed such a bitter pill. Still I feel you watching over me, And maybe that's why you never said goodbye. And that's it. That's my poem to my cousin. And I love her. So now I just want to show you real quickly what I ended up doing now that we have come to this new place of healing, right? Because I wanted a manner in which I could honor her. And I really ask that maybe you take the time, if you have lost someone near and dear to you to suicide, that you go ahead and perhaps leave them, make something for them in honor of what has happened in their life. Thank you, Verna. I really appreciate you being on here live with me today. I really do. So I wanted to show you what I made. So I made for my cousin. It's a spirit house, guys. So I took a birdhouse from Michael's or something, and I decided to paint it black and decorate it. And of course I put trees on it because you guys know I love trees. But she's from my childhood, so of course there's swings and all the things that I love. And I even included a picture of her, and then it's got like water looking things in the bottom, so it's kind of watery. And I put my manifestations in here, and I have her help me with them, and it's awesome. And so we continue to have this beautiful rapport after her passing, and it's really soothing to my soul, and it eases me. And I ask that perhaps you take the time to find a way to ease your grief and commune with your loved one, because everything is energy and nothing is ever truly lost. And it's only in your own grief that you can't find them, because once they leave their bodies, they're not there. They're in love again. Okay? It doesn't mean that your pain is less. It doesn't. But I find that now, for me, it's at least bearable. You know? So, and if you want one of these spirit houses, reach out to me. I think I can do a few specific ones. This one's got crystals on it, like celestite and stuff like that, but they're really a specific thing. I had really just made this one for myself, to help me heal. But I did want to, if you feel like you need one, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to help you out. Okay. All right. Now, that is all I've got for you tonight. I really just want you, like I said tonight, before you go to bed, take a moment and send some love out to someone out there. Because here's what happens, guys. When you decide to focus an intent like that and you send it out into the world, the universe will find a way for someone to execute it for you. Someone will pick up that kindness, and they'll be there for someone. Okay? It doesn't necessarily have to physically always be you. But when your intent goes out, the universe will pick it up and deliver it through the hands of another good Samaritan with a heart like yours. So let's do that. And if you can support any sort of families directly who have been, have had this problem or anything like that, guys, do something for someone today who has suffered in this way. And I hope that you have a wonderful and blessed evening. Thank you for spending your time with me here and for joining me for such a deep and not so jovial discussion. But fuck it. That's what this is about. This is what shadow work is. Okay? I love you all so much. Have a wonderful evening, and ta-ta for now.